Yeah,
Oh,
that's
request to
me.
record to this computer.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
mine.
send.
I'm recording on my end. You can record on your end.
I am. I'm hitting record, and it says request to record on this computer, and it says
Oh,
send a request to meeting host.
yes. Yeah, I
So
thought I already allowed it, but go ahead, send me a request.
I did. I send a chat thing over there, I think.
Oh,
But the pre thing telling about tonight,
yeah.
it wouldn't work for me off of the WhatsApp thing, and then you sent it to me in email, and it didn't have any sound. So my son came out
Oh,
here to
that,
help me.
okay. That's that's one of my other process. Pre like before I put the sound to it. So when we're done here, I'll make sure you get a copy. Okay.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it because I was like, what happened to the sound? And by the way, I thought that was hilarious, Scott. I really did. I thought that was fantastic. I thought he thought enough of me to do that. So I was quite tickled over that. So,
Are
and it
you
goes along
recording?
with the first one you sent me with the chick on the bike, and you said that I reminded you of her. I
Oh,
got a tickle out of that too. But
that's
you can see me
that's
on a motorcycle. That's cool, my brother.
yeah, that's her. That's actually her on a dragon. You know.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Well, I guess I should have put my glasses on.
Rhaenyra's. She's Princess Rhaenyra's, and I told you,
Oh,
remind me
okay.
of her.
Oh, well, that is cool. I'll take that as a compliment.
And yeah, it took me a long time to edit that your face into that picture. So,
I was going to
and
ask
I
you,
was
how did you do that? I was going to ask you, how did you do that? So,
I've been playing with editors for years, and it's not easy. And my old
no,
editor
it's
is
not.
broken. The one I've been paying like $10 a month for. I was
Uh-huh.
trying to do something, it was broken and it was driving me crazy, so I had to buy another one that's like $20 a month.
Well,
Not just for you,
my
for
friend
my
Dana told me about the Clip Champ, and that's what I've been using to do the videos on my YouTube thingy. And at first, I had to learn, but I got the hang of it now. But I still don't know how to, like put different pieces together and stuff like that. I'm slowly but surely learning. But
um
yeah,
is that on a mobile device or is it on your desktop
it's on my
editor?
desktop.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Because
can't do it in YouTube. I don't. It won't let me do shit in you. I'm sorry. You won't let me do nothing in YouTube. So
you curse on my channel and we're not live yet. But no, the YouTube editor is really difficult to use. But I find it much easier to use the apps that are for a mobile device. The one I'm using
uh-huh.
right now is called CapCut. It's very
CapCut.
intuitive. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
See if you can see
Okay.
I don't know if you can see the icon there,
I can. Okay.
but
All right.
that's in the App Store, and
Yeah.
it's a little bit more expensive than the other one,
Okay. Okay.
Viva Video I used to use. But it's very intuitive. It's very easy to use. Um, so
Well, to
uh,
me, I find it easier to use the Suno, the music one that I'm using.
uh,
I find it easier to do on my phone than I
right,
do on my desktop.
me
And it
too.
should be the other way around, but it's not.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean, for me, partially it's my vision because I can hold it up close. When I'm on my computer, I'm like this, you know, and it's just everything's like right there, and it's just
yeah.
yeah, it's lot
And if
easier.
it hits me, I have my phone right here. When I start writing things down, if it hits me, then I have my
Right,
phone available to do just
right.
that.
Yeah, I don't
You
have to
know,
pull out a
so it
computer.
is. I guess it makes it easier to have that, and I'm grateful for that because I mean,
Yeah.
I have been going to town on that. It's like God, well, a lot of my poems from the past, I dug out and stuff like this here, and that's been very helpful. But the newer stuff, God actually gives me these words, and I'm still
So
impressed, Scott. I'm still impressed. So.
you you probably
Like
don't
all
know.
that's coming out of me, it's amazing. So,
Yeah, it is. You probably don't know this about me, but I was once a poet back in my early 20s when I was going through a time of existential angst. These poems would just come out of me. They were like a form of therapy, and
mm,
I entered one of them into a national. It was Hey, hey, stop it. Con Library of Congress. She's been like that all day ever since last night. Some dogs had a fight, and she's been like that all day, just all on edge. Anyways, real quick, I entered a contest by the Library of Congress. One of
Hmm.
my poems got second place in a national contest. There were like 70,000
What?
applicants,
That's fantastic.
but I didn't win any prize money. But first place was like I think it was like $2,000, a trip to
Wow.
DC, and a book, like a book publishing
But
deal.
what was your inspiration? What caused you to do that?
Uh, like I
A
said, just
girl?
existential angst, being in my mid to late 20s, and
Okay.
not being able to find my purpose, and not being able to
Oh,
find
okay.
love, and and just total like dystopian despair is what one psychiatrist called it.
That's how my 20s were too, Scott. The poetry that I wrote, I had my despair ones and I feel like I've fallen ones and please help me God ones, and love ones. It was like that through the 20s is when we're learning the most things about being an adult, and looking
Right.
for love and companionship, and where our life is going. So I really do understand that. But if you have that kind of poetry, you ought to go ahead and post it out so that people can read it, Scott.
It's
Yeah.
lost. It's all
Oh, it's long.
lost.
Yeah, I lost a lot of mine
I had it.
too.
I this was all back in the mid '90s. I had it all printed out. I worked in a print shop, and I would have it
Uh-huh.
typeset, and then I printed out copies of it, and
Mhm.
I had them somewhere at home. But that was 20 years ago, and when I left, my things at home just kind of got scattered to the wind. I asked my mom to find them one time, and she found something that wasn't them,
Yeah.
and
I used to have
and
book
yeah,
binders of them and they all got
yeah.
lost. So,
Yeah, they just got, but I wasn't there for 20 years, and my stuff just kind of was all put in like a trash bag, and who knows what happened to it.
yeah.
Photographs, books I had, all these things I had, but I you can't hold on to attachments to material things like that.
That's true
Um,
because I have found that some of them has actually, come back into my mind and I'm thinking, well, what did it say? And I can actually remember some of it and then, I can
yeah,
finish it up, which really surprised me because I thought I've smoked too much weed in my life. So it really
yeah.
surprised me that I can remember
Um,
them.
oh, it's time to start.
Yes,
We're
I
just
see
sitting here
that.
having,
Yeah.
having our conversation. Can you hear my dogs barking? Is it coming through the microphone?
Uh-uh.
Okay. But it
Hmm.
is disturbing me quite a bit, so I got to do something about that first. It's really bad.
Okay, no worries. No worries.
There was
There
some
you go.
commotion last night. Something really bad happened to one of the neighbors' dogs, which got the
Uh,
whole neighborhood wailing for what seemed like hours. It started like 4 o'clock in the morning, so I didn't get much sleep last night. And now this
oh my
dog, who's
goodness.
like always on edge anyway, is now jumping at any sound and just like going crazy. Okay, and get my thoughts together.
Yeah, I got me some rose tea for this evening. I
Okay,
actually like it. I do actually like it. So,
all right. So let me pull
okay.
up my screen here. Oh, you need to stop, dog. What the hell is that? Hold on just a minute,
No
Elise.
worries.
Are you in the chat?
I can pull it up.
Yeah, tell
Yeah.
people that
Okay.
we'll be right on.
All right.
If you can do that, that would help
I
me a lot.
can.
I'm looking for, where the heck is, oh, there it is.
I spelled it wrong. All right. There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna hit the live button and oh no, hold on a second. Gotta do this right.
Well, what are we going to talk about? And people are just going to ask us questions. I did tell a lot
Oh,
of people, so I told them to bring their questions.
that reminds me, I have my notebook. Yeah, I've got a couple of things here.
Okay. Well, I think the last one went really well.
Do you know what the straw man account is?
I do. And I have a
Okay,
question that somebody sent
a lot of
me, and
people are
I'm actually
asking
going to
about
answer
that.
them tonight. So,
I've got a cup of coffee question on that. We're gonna start off talking about that. Okay.
okay, cool.
Stream.
Let me make sure I remember her name so I can give her a shout out.
Medbeds. I'd like to know everything you know about medbeds,
Okay.
possible teleportation devices, everything
Okay.
you've seen in your journeys into
Okay.
higher densities on those
Okay.
things. Oh, how do you like the name of this segment I'm calling it? And this here with Alisa.
I thought it was pretty cool. It makes people go, "What? Let's go find out." So,
That's your catchphrase. Somebody's told me I love it when Alisa says, "And this here."
and it's
Okay,
here.
here we go. Were you
Okay.
aware that you said that a lot?
No, I guess I
It's like a
wasn't aware
natural,
of it.
it's just,
So I say
yeah,
it's
it's just a
here a
natural part of
lot.
your,
Okay.
you
Well,
say, and this here.
huh?
Okay, three, two, one.
Okay. Are we live?
Okay, let me see. We should be, oh, we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to
Hello.
my channel, Intuitive Insights in Tarot. And this is a new segment that we're going to be doing. I think, Elise, if you can, I'd like you to meet you every 2 weeks, same like I do with Honey. And
Okay.
I'm calling this "And This Here" with Alisa because that's your catchphrase. You didn't even realize it, but
Oh, I
somebody
didn't.
told me after our last, we went in the chat. I love it when she says "And this here." Yeah, it's one of your southern idioms or that you
Well, thank
use.
you to whoever said that. I
So
appreciate for you pointing that out. So I didn't realize it, but now
yeah,
I'm aware.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
all
well,
of
we love your very down to earth country accent and colloquialisms. Hi,
well, I was actually
everybody. I
worried
want to
about
make
that in the
sure that, yep,
beginning, I was concerned about that. I said, I'm just a Southern woman and I get out here and I just, be me, I'm liable to shock these people. But everybody seems to really, enjoy that I do present myself as being down to earth. So I'm very, very grateful. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Thank you very, very much. So,
well, that's what people say they see in me all the time, that I'm just very authentic, and you are too.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like,
That's why we get along
a
so
lot of
good.
my childhood, I spent in your region, and so your accent brings back memories, and yeah, I love
You
it.
been to the
And
Carolinas?
yeah, I used to not South Carolina, but right on the border. I think Charlotte was really close,
Mhm.
but I used to go to Charlotte a lot. Just spent a lot of time in that area, and okay, so what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, what are we going to
And
talk about?
um, can I real quick before we get into the topics that I have for us? Um, I'd like to invite people to go and check out my website. It's in the description. I'm available for private readings. And there's something new I'm doing that some people suggested that I should do. Some people either can't meet me at my in my time window that I'm in, or maybe they just don't like to use Zoom, or don't want to appear in a video call like what Elise and I are doing right now. So you can just send me your questions by email, the three questions for $35, and then I'll make a video for you, a personal video for you, and I'll send it to you via email. And so you can get questions to me that way if you don't want to put them here on YouTube, or if you don't want to have meet me for a meeting. So check that out on my website. It's a new service I'm offering. Okay.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
And
Yeah,
I wanted to add, so we were talking pre-show about the bumper video I made for this, where I took the picture of Princess Rhaenyra from the House of Dragons, which is a show. I asked you if you'd watched it yet. You haven't been watching it, right?
no.
So it's a really popular show right now. It's got dragon riders in it, and this character, Princess Rhaenyra. I told you last time we spoke that you remind me of her. You look a little bit like her, and she's this uh, badass warrior. No spoilers. Anybody in the chat, don't tell anybody what happens. Okay.
Right. It's spoilers.
And so I worked, I don't know if it, I think it took me like 2 hours to take your picture. And I got, by the way I got your photo is like right now, the way your head is slightly tilted in that direction. I needed that position. And from our
Hmm.
last video, I took a screenshot and then I cut I cut you out, edited your face out, and then placed it. It took me hours, or like 2 hours to get it just right. I had to match the color because you're a little bit whiter than she is, and so I had
Hmm.
to change the colors. And then I searched through your songs. I found a song that really seemed to fit with it, and I put it together. And I was a little bit worried that I don't know, you wouldn't like what I'd done with it because I didn't. You're sleeping, so I couldn't ask your permission. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna do that thing where it's easier to ask for forgiveness. I figure if you didn't like it, tell me to take it down, and I could do that.
I thought it was
But
fantastic. But I tell you, I got such a tickle out of it, and I was laughing. And then I realized it was my face on there, and that made me laugh. I was like, "How did he do that?" I said, "That's actually pretty cool." And so I took it as a great compliment there, Scott. If you took time to think about me to do that, then I'm grateful for that, my friend. Just like the song I wrote for you, Scott with a Yeti, Scott and the Yeti. I thought that was great. And then you was talking with Honey about it, and when you did the show with her. So I appreciate that you give it a shout out that you did like it. So that made me happy. So and I've gotten several people have tell me, they just love the sense of humor that I use with these here mythical characters. So
you really made me laugh because in the song, the Yeti's a female and she's looking for marriage, and Scott's got to run. um, right in the song, the Yeti song,
no, it's a
Scott and the Yeti.
guy. It's a guy Yeti. Look, asking you for help. Because
Oh,
if she catches him, then she wants marriage. That's why he runs.
okay. I have to
So,
go back. But so I made the comment that it was I thought it was about because there's this I don't know how famous it is, but there's this story about a Chinese man because there are Sasquatches all over the world. Vietnam's got one, and there's one in China. And there was this great story of a Chinese man who was in a forest in China somewhere, and a female Yeti grabbed hold of him, and he said that she had breasts the size of rice bowls, and she was like hugging him, and like he's saying she wanted to make me his wife, and that's what it made me think of. And I need to
well,
clear
and
something
she's
up for
after the
people
guy
because
in the song, so that's pretty funny. That's funny.
and I do need to clear something up for people because when I after I played the song and I thought that that's what you were talking about, I said, well, because you didn't know that I have never technically been married. Okay. I've never
Right.
had a ring on this finger. I've got the ring over here, and this is the one my wife. I call her my wife because we've been together for 7 years. We've been living together for 5 years. And, when you live together with somebody for 5 years, for all intents and purposes, that's your wife.
Yeah.
I don't recognize admiralty law or the law of, like somebody says you're married because you signed a piece of paper and paid some money to a judge or something.
No, you're
Um,
common law. So
yeah, but technically, no, I've never been married. So just wanted to clear that up. People were confused.
I
Um,
have some.
so anyways, I'm glad you liked it, and it was fun to make. And yeah. So speaking of like the law of the land and admiralty law and things like that, um,
Uh-huh.
recently it's come up about, and for purposes of this video, I'm going to call it the Scarecrow account. Okay,
Uh-huh.
because
And
the
it's
other
for
word,
entertainment purposes only.
that's right, this is not financial advice.
That's right.
So it's uh, like Honey does straw and man together, but that's the Scarecrow. And so this is a really super complicated uh, topic. So I'm not going to go too deep into it. Honey and I are going to do more on it when she comes on next week. But the
Okay.
question was, and this was a question from Robin over in Chi-Town. Hi,
Okay.
Robin. Lady T in the chat if
Hi,
she
Robin.
shows up. Let me check the time. So it's about 15 minutes in. This way I can let her know because I'm going to pull some cards for her. She bought me a coffee and she asked me about her I can't remember what she called it, but there's this PDF that you can get from Honey. It's on Honey C. Golden's website, but also I found it just by searching on Telegram.
Well, then you can
And
drop the link in the chat, right?
yeah, well, I can't do it right now, but if you just go to Telegram and search for Straw Man,
Mm-hmm.
actually proof of that word, then you'll find it. Just put it in the main search in Telegram. And if you're not on Telegram, you really should be because that's the one of the best ways to get in touch with
Right.
people, and there are great groups in there.
Right.
And it's
I know
not
what you're talking
it's not
about. I had a friend send it to me, so I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, and it's 100. There's a 100-page form that explains like anyway. It's like I said, super complicated. So for right now, what I'm talking about is this PDF that people have downloaded, filled out a form, and then paid $23 to get their name on a list to receive the funds that are in their strawman account.
Okay.
How I'm gonna Elise, can you explain? I've already said it, so it doesn't matter. This the what that is exactly. Can you? It's I'm gonna give you a shot at it before I try.
Okay. Well, I call it the straw account.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
Okay. And this I did have my thank you, Susan. She sent it to me. It sent me that, and yes, it does talk about that to get your name on the list and so forth. And I mean, you can go about doing that, but you already have proof of it with your social security card and your birth certificate. Okay.
Right.
So you don't necessarily need to go out there and do that and give people that you don't know information about you and everything that you have um, about this your account and so forth. You don't necessarily need to do that. You can if you feel like you
Okay.
should. That's okay then, but you
But
don't have to.
but
But then
Elise,
once you go
Elise,
through the reset, huh?
what is it though? What is this? That when we say
Okay.
there's an account that
Okay.
has your name on it, that's all in uppercase
Right.
letters.
Okay.
Like,
Well, I did
how
just
is
answer somebody this question, so I understand what you are asking of me.
yeah?
Okay, the quickest and most sum up way that I can do it is that, everybody knows that things changed in 1917. Okay, and then whenever they brought in to start charging us taxes, okay, which they did that during a Christmas Eve. Nobody was in town, so to speak. Nobody voted it in. Nobody, and the Democrats went ahead and said it was a done deal, and then lied to the people and said that it was voted in, and it never was. So, and then that's whenever they started actually using a lot of people to scour the America and force people to give up their gold.
Right.
Okay. They took their gold by gunpoint. Okay. If you didn't give
By,
it up,
by
you
the
didn't
way,
get the gold. Mhm.
that meeting that was held on Christmas Eve, they called that the Beast of Jekyll Island, when
Yes.
all of
Yes,
those
they did.
some top government officials and the
Mhm.
business leaders from the country met on Jekyll Island and they formed this plan.
Mhm. Well, the plan was actually established in 1897, and it didn't come into effect until 1917. Okay, because that's what
You know a lot
England's
about
claim
this. I'm really
was.
glad I have you here to explain this. So I'm sorry that I interrupted you.
Oh no,
Could you?
that's okay. But it was a plan pre-made by England to come in here and pretty much they say, well, you want to go to war, but you want to go to war with us. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to give you all the money you need to go to war with us. And whenever the war was over, we want our money. Well, we don't have it. Well, guess what? All that you own belongs to us. And the only way that they could pay off the debt that they owed was to sign it over to England. And that's why the capital and everything else is not part of America. Okay, it belongs to England. I mean to um
The
should I say
crown.
the crown belongs to the crown. And that's the reason why it's its own jurisdiction. It's its own little country inside of our country. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. That's the reason why they can get away with so much in that area illegally. It's because it's not America. Okay, but whenever they started scouring for all of the gold and they were taking it by gunpoint and stuff like this here, they were putting into play this taxing. Okay, and what they did was they took all the gold and they said, well, whatever. Let's just say I gave you a handful of gold, and the dude would turn around and says, "I'm going to give you this piece of paper." Okay. And this piece of paper is going to vouch that you had this much gold. Okay. And therefore, gold at that first moment had value. Okay. It wasn't just a piece of paper, it was actually worth $1. Okay. At that time. Now it's minus 3 cents. Okay. That tells you any difference. But since they put out this paper money to take away the gold from everybody, they said, well, now we're going to tax you on this paper money because you owe us for your, I want to say like your grandfather's debt. Okay. All right. So they rolled it over into this new generation. And then they said, well, we can tax you on it. And ain't nothing you can do about it. And now we can tax your property, whatever. Even if it's yours, we can tax it. Because if you don't pay our taxes, then we'll take your land. Okay. And the taxes just got out of control. Even today, we pay taxes for our when we're working. And when we get our paycheck, it says the tax has already been cut out of it, right? But now we have to pay taxes on everything else: gas, food, clothing, whatever it may be. Okay. They swarm us with these taxes to overbearing us to where they always have this kind of control. Well, the straw account was started back then. Okay. And what it did was they made us commodities like we're Pepsi's. Okay. And then they started trading us based on what we wanted, needed, desired, what we would go shop for, and stuff like this here. Even at that time, it was all about commodities. Okay. And what commodity can you come in? And that's where the
I'm
maritime law comes into effect, that we are not legal people. We belong to the sea. Okay. We do not belong to the land. This is the maritime law. Okay. That's why a courtroom pretty much looks like a ship whenever you go into it. Okay. It's got the
yeah.
banisters where you have to go through where the judge sits and all this kind of good stuff. It's because it's representing a ship. And what it is that um, a ship berths whenever it docks. Okay, she's got cargo on it and everything else, and all that cargo has got to be taken off, which is berthing it. Okay, getting rid of it. Okay,
Now,
in the canal, yeah. And that's what they did to us. They made us a commodity because we get birthed, okay, from our mothers. Okay. And And whenever we are birthed, without her realizing it, she's signing a piece of paper saying that it's okay to turn us into a commodity. We are not people. A person, if you look it up in the dictionary, it will actually tell you that a person is not what we think it is. Okay, it's pretty shocking that we are less than scum. Okay, we are nothing but a commodity. Cattle is a good way of saying it. So you want to say something
Yeah,
there, Scott? You look like you want to
yeah.
say something.
Can I interject? So they created this false entity. So
Hmm.
there's you, there's the flesh and blood
This
man that's
right,
created by
right.
God, and there's this dead entity, which I
Hmm.
understand is they base it on the placenta that's left behind, because nobody
Hmm.
takes the placenta with them, so they have your DNA there, and they say we have this corpse here, and if nobody claims it, then they give it a
Right,
name. All that name is all in capital letters. If you look at any
right.
legal document that you have,
Hmm.
your name is all in capital letters, which goes against
Right,
grammar, proper grammar. Capital S,
right,
then lowercase. My name would be capital S, lowercase
right.
COTT, right?
Mhm.
So I just want some people might be confused by that. So now you have
That's
two
why
different
they
entities.
do it. Yeah.
One that's your legal entity that is where all your licenses and all your dealings with government are, and there's one that's you that is has free will that is only under the law of God, the
Mhm.
golden law, right? Golden
Right.
law.
It's kind of
Okay.
like your shadow self. You know, it's a copy of you. And what they do is they trade us on the market. Okay, and the straw accounts do have lots of money in them because we were traded on the market just like a commodity. But some of us were worth more than others, because we did more or had more or wanted more, spent more, stuff like this here. But the straw account, the way it comes back to us is through the Nesara Gesara, which Sue Wright, she had sent me this here question about that because it leads into that. So I'm going to answer her question. Thank you, Sue. And that is, well, 2,000 years ago, they used to have a jubilee every 100 years. Okay, and the purpose of this was to erase your grandfather's debt so that you didn't have to pay for it. Okay, gives every new generation a new clean start, so to speak. Okay, and they stopped doing that. So that's 2,000 years they've been doing this to us. But we're just going to go with 1928, I believe it was 27, when all this stuff really kicked in and took full force. And so any taxes that you have paid, okay, since the first time you started paying taxes, and that includes your parents and your grandparents, okay, anything that was paid in taxes has to be given back because it was stolen from us. And this is called the massive jubilee because usually they would do it every 100 years, but it's been 2,000. Okay, so that's a grand chunk of stuff, but they're only going back to our grandparents. Okay, and so if your parents, people who are our age, if your parents are no longer alive, then you will receive those taxes if it's you and your siblings and so forth. But if your parent has been married a couple of times, then it will be based off of each marriage split evenly for those kids if whatever was in that marriage. Okay, but you will receive all of that, including the taxes for yourself, all the taxes that you've paid. We're talking all taxes. Doesn't matter what it was, all of it. Okay. But because some of us is worth more than others in these strong accounts, they will be given out in allotments. Okay. And that because you cannot just give out large funds like that. I'm going to just say the young people, I'm sure people my age understand this. You just can't give funds like that to the younger generation without them having knowledge of what to do with it. Okay. But if you give it to them in allotments, they have a tendency to want more because they know another one's coming. Well, then they'll start wanting to educate themselves and so forth. You see, so that they can acquire more. Okay. But the bulk of it is so that people can have homes, buy your home, buy your land, buy your food, whatever it is that you need to go forwards. It isn't for, 100 cars, motorcycles, boats, and stuff like that there. It is to do good things. And if you don't use it for good things, my brothers and sisters, you will lose it. Okay, because this is the test of the heart. Okay, you don't want to be pulled away from us because you're only thinking about Ferraris and shit. Okay, you want to stay with it and be wise with it. God is going to give us a grand gift, and He's not giving it to us to be frivolous with it or to be non-wise. Okay, we have a golden opportunity. All of us, not just one, all of us will receive something that could help the entire world in one shot. Okay, now you imagine that. That's ultimate control on our behalf. And it takes the people who are paying attention to this stuff and the ones who are here to help with this here mission. They'll know what they're supposed to do with it. Okay, it's not to be squandered. It's supposed to be put into to help complete your mission and for future generations. You need to make sure that you're thinking about something that's 5, 6, 7, 8 generations away from you. Okay, this is not just about you. We cannot allow this to happen again. So you have to make sure that as you're going forwards, you are thinking about everything for the right reasons, because it will get to a point where monies will no longer exist, like especially whenever we get into 5D. That's not necessary, but what we will leave behind, because there would the split, even on the 4D, you got to think about 2 planets that are 4D. One's going to go to 5D and the other one will not. Okay, but those ones that get left on that 4D, those ones can go on in a generation to be able to make sure that their children's and children's children is taken care of, so that by the time they go through this whole cycle again, they are ready for it. Okay, because now you got more good guys on that 4D planet than you do bad guys. You see what I mean? But those who are just totally for helping everyone and doing for all the best that we can, that we're the ones that's going to 5D, because we were called from these higher dimensions to come down here to do that. It's not about the money, it's about the help. Okay, but the money is very helpful to make that process happen. So this is my brothers and sisters, we need to be wise. Okay, this is our golden opportunity to do something for the entire world, not just ourselves.
Yeah.
And
I
whenever
am
you go go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm so glad that I had you on today. I didn't know you had this much knowledge on this topic. That's great. Um, so about this PDF that people were asking about, and that Lady T asked me about, which I'm going to read for, because she asked me, like, now that she's filled out the forms and paid her money, what's going to happen with that. But I've gotten this question from other people. I actually answered this question
Okay.
during another client, and then he gave me permission to put that video on YouTube. Have you seen that one, Elise? Maybe
About the
not.
straw man.
The one, there was a video that I posted that said that by the end of the year, because Honey's been saying that everybody was getting the funds from the straw man by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
She's been saying that, and even though Honey
Yeah.
doesn't do predictions anymore, this is kind of, this is one
Right.
that she's
Well,
put
I
out.
do know it's upon us. I mean, everybody can feel, the thickness and the tension that's happening right now. It's like the Jiffy Pop popcorn, and it's going to pop.
Yeah,
It will pop, and it's a lot of people get scared about the scenarios that's been happening, like with Trump and so forth. And now we got the situation with Biden. Apparently on Newsmax, they were saying that Biden is supposed to be stepping down over the weekend. So we're going to
yeah,
find this out.
they've
I don't
gone
know.
back
I'm
on
just gonna wait to see, but that's actually good news, and
mainstream.
I'll accept it as good news. So, but I do know things are going forwards, and like my higher self told me that this election is not going to be like anything we've ever experienced. I mean, it's already proven that already. Okay, but now we're going into that itself. But how it's going to turn out, I don't know. But I do know that God showed me that we will eventually go to what is a council. There will not be just one president that has that much power, and it won't be no Congress. It would just be a council that we are the ones that, elect those ones that are higher density, higher vibration, that are wise and so forth. And that's not just for America, that's for all over. I mean, they actually have a council in the galaxy, a council for a whole galaxy. So they have councils for the smaller versions too. and it makes
Okay,
them
well,
run more efficiently, run better because this is the golden age. And you want somebody that is going to be in charge that wants to maintain that, and going forwards, and that is for the people. And it will, and a lot of the councils that I have gotten to see, the majority of them are women. But behind those women are men. Okay, they do have a say. It's just that they seem to present the women in the front because they're the ones that they more don't want war, and they understand life, and they understand the birthing of life. So you need to, preserve that. So that's their mentality, is to keep the peace and do things right,
okay.
and
Elise, I want to stay
mhm.
on topic. Okay, I want to because I'm talking about this PDF that people have downloaded, and they've got it from
Right
Honey,
on
and
the
they
on the
paid their
straw thing.
$23.
Yeah.
And this is a question that the people have asked me. And like I said, I answered it in that video. Lady T asked me to answer it again. She bought me a coffee to answer it again. I'm going to do that here. But I also want to clear something up that when I said that people went to Honey's site, they downloaded the PDF and then they paid the $23. Somebody made a comment. So where did the $23 go? Is Honey just keeping that money? That money didn't go to Honey. That's a governmental fee that
Right.
that they paid for. Okay?
That's right.
And the other thing is, and I would like to I reached out to Honey because I didn't know what Honey's involvement with this was either. So I asked Honey about it, and she sent me this audio file that she's given me permission to play. So I'm going to
Okay.
share my screen real quick,
Okay.
and this is for everybody who has this question. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so it's right here.
Yeah, probably. Basically, I have a PDF pinned to the top about how to get into your strawman account and use it. Um, Everybody's going to have their strawman account within the next 6 months anyway. Um, so I don't think it'll be dependent on this thing that he filled out, this questionnaire. I feel like that just kind of pushed, what do you call it, the white hats to get it done faster. All the people clamoring about their strawman account. So hopefully
Mm.
that helps.
It did. It did help.
All right, so I hope
So,
this clears it up for people out there. Um,
right.
what's funny is I heard about this signing up for this probably 5 or 6 years ago, and
Mhm.
when I looked it up, it was it was way too complicated for me. It was like there were pages and pages, and like you have to read all this, and I'm dyslexic, and I'm like, you know what? For one thing, I just don't believe it because this is our money. We don't
Right.
have to ask for our money back. We don't have to fill
That's
out
right.
something.
But
Um,
it is good to
but
have
I
those papers so that you have an idea of what would be maybe asked of you. Like whenever I was talking about the Nasara Gesara and of course the reset, you will be given this information and you will have the right to ask questions. So that actually is a good thing. If anything, it gives you a list of an understanding, but you don't want to give that information and pay $23 to somebody that you're giving your information to. That's how I see
think
it. But I'm not going to say it's bad, but it is good to have it on file if you choose to do so, just to be able to look at it and read it and do your best to try to understand. So,
I think it was like Honey said, it was something like to get it out into the collective consciousness as well, to get more people
yes,
focusing on this, and
right.
then help to manifest it faster.
Right. That's why they're
Uh,
putting the medbed things out. The first generation is to put the idea in our heads that these actually are here. They are feasible. They probably can work, blah, 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 blah. It's to get the idea into us, to get us used to that so that we manifest. Now, the second generation is actually coming out. And that was actually because the case against Chevron, the case against Chevron got overturned. And they are the big dogs that tells FDA what to do. No ifs, ands, or
okay,
buts, no excuses. They are the
getting ahead of
boss.
me. That's our next topic.
So,
Okay, Medbeds
okay.
are going to be our next topic. So I'm
Okay.
going to do a reading, pull cards for Lady T, and for everybody who has downloaded this PDF, paid the $23.
Mhm.
Are maybe that'll fast track you compared to those of us
Mhm.
who didn't. And like I said, when I did my reading for Mike recently, I got that and I told him that this is for everybody who did it. Everybody was going to be getting it in December. That's what I got. I got the Ten of Pentacles, which is
Hey.
my December card. It's my end of the year card. It's also
Mhm.
wealth and gold and it's the family. But because Lady T bought me a coffee, I'm obliged to answer her question. So it's basically the same question, but it's more focused on Lady T in particular. But all of you out there who have done this filled out this form. Okay, so let me do
Mhm.
this, and then we're going to get to the med beds. Okay, because that's another one of the most popular questions people are asking me. Sandy, lay down. Okay, so Robin, Lady T. Oh, I got to mark the
Lady
time.
T.
So it's 6 minutes past 9 o'clock. I'll send her an email telling her where she can find this answer.
Okay.
Okay. And real quick, because I did this reading and I got an answer, the cards in the universe are funny this way. They're like, hey, I already told you this, so I'm not going to tell you again, but I'll tell you more information. All right, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Or the universe is going to say, don't bother me with these stupid questions anymore. And that does happen. Okay. Oh, well, there you go. Reading's done. Yeah, everybody who paid the money for this, you're gonna get your money, and that's the end. That's the yes to that right there. But let's expand on it. Celebration. Everybody's gonna be celebrating, throwing parties, probably in the new year because I think this is gonna happen before Christmas. So this is gonna be like New Year celebrations are gonna be off the hook after some great revelation that's going to come, probably in November, connected with the time when we put our names in the box. Okay, now I asked about the two different groups, those who signed up and those who didn't sign up. Those who
Mhm.
signed up, it looks like maybe, let me get the outcome. Yeah, well, no, everybody's going to be taken care of at the same time. The whole world is the outcome. Thank you very much, universe. You are giving me the further answers that I needed. Here's the Hierophant. This is the system. This card came up in the very same place when I did this before.
Yeah.
This is the white hats are in control now of all of the systems that run our society. Well, at least that's connected to this scarecrow account or the straw account, as Elise says. And wow, I
Mhm.
just can't believe how consistent my cards are on this. And I hate doing predictions and saying that it's going to happen on this date, and I'm never firm like that. But this could be, this one could be for real this time. Okay,
Well,
so
I think that's awesome
get ready to
because it does go
celebrate.
along with everything. Are you talking about the one you just here did recently? It's like 7.5 minutes or something.
Yes,
Yeah, I didn't see it.
it's
Okay.
7 minutes 50 seconds, which is
Yeah.
which condenses to the number three, which is
Uh-huh.
a these numbers 369 keep popping up all around me all the time
Me
now.
too. I've been getting that a lot. I've been getting that a lot.
Even in that
639
reading,
or 936. So yeah.
even in that reading, 639, I delineated it. It was right there in those cards as well. So there you have it, people. And if you did do pay the $23 and sign up,
Hmm.
you're not going to be treated any special from anybody else,
That's
but
right.
you did play a part in this, I believe, to
Right.
push the timeline forward a little bit.
Right.
So, but don't feel like you have to go out there and do this, and if you didn't do it, that you're going to be left out. This is
No,
owed to
nobody's gonna be
everybody.
left out.
And I want to add one more thing. It's not just taxes. It's every fee that you have ever paid for a governmental
Hmm.
service. Your licenses, your taxes on your car, with
Yep.
the registration on your car,
Hmm.
school registration, all these things. All that
Hmm.
money's coming back to you.
That's right.
Okay, so we're done with that topic.
That was a
Elise,
great
you did a
reading, Scott. I thought
fantastic
that was
job.
really good. I enjoyed that reading right there. So,
Oh, that one just was.
very
I'm
optimistic,
always
knowing.
fighting my cards because I don't know if I'm, I know what I should get. And if I would have got just kind of blah cards, then I would be struggling to give you. But no, this is big. This is history, human history for the ages that we're seeing play out right here.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, I'm wondering. I haven't seen any super chats, and I'm wondering if that's because CloudStrike has interfered with it. Not that I I need, or I'm not asking for super chats, but usually somebody sends a super chat by now or buy me a coffee, and I haven't received any of those yet either. So I'm wondering if the 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 cloud strike is interfering with any of that because banks aren't working and things like that.
Mhm. Yeah, that was
Eh,
that global thing of a power outage thingy, and they're like, "Oh, this just is coincidental," after the attempt with Trump, and then everything kind of exploded. America exploded for him, and then it's kind of like that happens afterwards. So they're saying that that's not a coincidence, and I believe that these major things happening like that, it's not a coincidence. Things
right,
are changing, and it's kind of like morphing into this here world that we want. It's kind of like the picture is actually morphing and changing for us based on our beliefs and our reactions. So, and because the America did react in a very heartfelt, compassionate way for that incident with Trump, that's a lot of energy. That is some major energy. So it's going to have a ripple effect. Okay, and as
right.
that ripple goes out, it's going to change things even more so because that's a positive, compassionate change. We want change. We're not going to allow this shit no more kind of wave going out, and it affects everybody. And that definitely showed this. That's the reason why more people are on board, and everybody's saying that it's pretty much solidified now.
Oh,
But I'm just saying that I don't know how the election is going to turn out, but I do know that things are very different than they ever have been, and God's been telling me that since the beginning of the year. So,
I'm not sure that there's going to be a and just because of YouTube is can be tricky, at least. Let's not try to use the words WAR too much, and the other word that you use when we're talking about putting the ballot in the box. Okay,
gotcha.
the the
Right.
censors will, if you say
It
those
was a
words too
dream.
many.
No worries. It was all a dream. That the thing picks
Yeah,
up on it. I'm talking about a dream I had. So,
yeah, that helps. That actually helps. Okay, but Phil G, whose last name we're not allowed to say on YouTube, a lot of people know who I'm talking about. Phil God, and then the second part of his name is Lusky. Do you know who I'm talking about? He's
I don't
an
think.
insider. He's got connections with people who are in the alliance or the white hats. Okay, and
Okay.
I
Cool.
trust him because I've done readings on him, and my information is paralleled his information time and time again. So,
Mhm.
well, I know a lot of people don't trust him, don't like him, but he's been saying that there's not going to be a time in November, never November 5th, when everybody puts the
Okay.
names in the box, is not even going to happen. Okay.
Right.
And, and that's what it looks like. We're the timeline we're on now.
Right.
Um, that the military is going to have to take control, and we're going to be in martial law at that time, and that's when they're going to be able to roll out this new monetary system. Oh, I want to give my take on the crowd strike outage that happened. So I was in bed last night, 11 o'clock, when I started hearing how big it was. And I'm like, oh, I've got to get up and do a read on this. So you can hear my voice. I'm like just still half asleep. And this is my take on what happened. Um, the white hats had to go in and change some systems around. They had to change some things over, and that caused this system breakdown. Okay, so and it was really crazy because yesterday my card of the day, I have an app on my phone where I get a card of the day from a tarot card of the day, and it was the tower. So
Mhm.
in order to construct a new infrastructure, the old one has to be torn down. So that's
Right.
what's been happening. And
Yeah.
I mentioned a while back that in my readings for the past 2 years, whenever anybody asked me about their finances, I would get answers like, don't concern yourself with money right now. Concern
Mhm.
yourself with your spiritual awareness and your spiritual awakening,
Right.
and
Right.
trusting the universe will take care of you, and don't get hung up on money, right? And then something shifted about 1 month ago. I mentioned it when with Honey that all of a sudden now I'm getting people are going to be wealthy. It's coming up over and over again that now when people are asking me about money, it's like, oh yeah, you don't worry about it because now you're going to have an abundance of wealth. Um,
That's right.
Everything. If it's your silver, gold, um, XRP and Ethereum and these other few of these other ones, all of these things are your straw account on your
Mhm.
birth certificate. All of these things are going to make us to where we're not going to care about money anymore. And this is
Right.
like Lisa, this is going to be a short-term thing to where eventually we're just not using money anymore. But people will
Right.
have to wean off of it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, just like the
So
replicator. We have to wean off of this type of food here, like people who are meat eaters. That's why the replicators are perfect, because you can still eat your meat and get weaned off of eating the live stuff and get it out of a replicator. And it's an easier transition for people instead of them thinking, oh my God, I have to instantly go to a vegan. No, you don't. No, you don't.
yeah, right.
Trust me, you'll like the meats coming out of the replicators a lot better, my brothers and sisters, because it's pure energy and it's clean. So.
Okay, well, this is a great segue for what I want to talk about next, which is med beds, which is probably the second most question I get asked about, or maybe even the first. So I'm going to give you the floor, Elise. I get, everybody wants to know when they're going to get their opportunity, and I'm also curious about triage. Who gets it first? And
Okay.
I'm going to give you the floor to talk about this.
Okay. I'm not sure where you would like for me to start on that, but
I've heard
uh,
I've heard you talk about in your journeys, your
mhm,
dimensional journeys you've experienced. Well, I guess I just do you
mhm.
know about are there med beds in physical reality here in our world right now? When will they be rolled out and who will get them first and like how will that be handled? Do you have any answers for these
Okay.
questions?
The real med beds, the holographic quantum ones, are here. Okay. They really do exist. I have seen the ones that I have dealt with on the islands. Okay. And they have them on ships as well. And they are holographic. It's just like most of them just pretty much flat. Like if you're laying down having surgery or so forth. But they do have other ones kind of like in a sit, almost in a sit position. But it's all holographic. So, but they are here. They do exist. I am aware of, at least in this area that we are, which is called our little part of the world over here, all of us. There's about 100,000 of these medbed facilities that are in mountains,
Wow.
underground, under the water, in the ocean, under the ocean itself, on islands. On islands that we don't even know exist. I mean, that's how I found out with a lot of the islands that I'm dealing with. I'm like, I didn't even know this thing existed. I'm familiar with uh, some islands, but these were outside of what we would call the inner ice wall. Okay, because there's so many more continents and stuff out there. And that's what actually gives these places a lot more security. Okay, because you don't want somebody that can come and cause you problems. That's the reason why I like the island ones, is because it is very much security. But they can't put these type of facilities yet up on the surface here in America. We're just going to use that because there's still too many bad guys on the playing field, and that could Molotov it, bomb it, cause problems, protests, destruction, because they don't want us to go there, or they'll try to take our brothers and sisters away from us from doing something like that by instilling fear into them. Okay, so they already have this here, I think it's the EE med bed that is out, and And there's nothing wrong with that, my brothers and sisters. If you want to go use that, go use it and go with positive feeling vibrations and knowing that it is able to help you. That's the whole point, is to get us used to it in our minds that these things are possible. Okay. But now the second generation is supposed to be coming out, and they were stopped. And they were stopped by the FDA because the FDA is controlled by Chevron. Okay. And the Chevron case got overturned in court. And what does that mean for us? That means all regulations are gone. They have to be redone, because now you don't have to have a license to go fishing, go hunting, stuff like this here. You don't have the license to have a cat. You don't have to do none of this crap no more, none of these regulations. But that also goes all the way towards any kind of a medical, new medical things that can help us, new alternative ways that we can use to help ourselves. That they were shut down by the FDA because the FDA says, or should it be like that? Chevron says, well, whatever we say is not good for the public, you can't do it. So the FDA will shut it down. They're saying, we want you to buy this pill, this prescription from us. You cannot use alternative. You have to do this, because the FDA, the Chevron told FDA they had to. And that's in all kinds of categories, not just the medical. Well, they got overturned because they were never elected. Okay. Nobody gave these people an election right to be able to have that much control. And it was done by the Democrats legislative that just told these people, we're going to give you this permission to do this, and we just need you to do it. Nobody voted it in. Nobody even knew about it. It was done behind our backs. And that's why it was overturned. So that is going to allow the new Medbed, or the second generation of Medbeds, to come out, and them to have them on surface type facilities without them being shut down. Okay, now we'll be able to have these herbalist places for alternative medicine, holistic medicines, and they can't be shut down, my brothers and sisters. That is an excellent point for this year being turned over. And they do not have to follow the rules on how to do crops anymore. You have to poison it because we told you to. They don't have to do that because it's not a regulation anymore. So tell me if that isn't a benefit to us. And that's in all things, all foods, all things. It has to be, it had got turned over. They cannot put these toxins and anything else in any of our foods anymore because it's not a regulation. It was never by law. And since it was illegal, it has to be taken out. Okay. So this is a major turnover. This is a major turnover.
Can I interject one thing? This product, ASEA, that I have here, this is that I've become an associate, and I'm trying to spread the word how this can really de-age you and make you healthier. What you're saying right now about the FDA regulations is exactly why they didn't go that route, and it's why it sold the way it, because frankly, had they done that, it would have either been taken over by a pharmaceutical company who probably would have just taken it off the market because it actually makes people feel better, or they would have, taken control of it. But yeah, and real quick, Rob, I got your coffees. We'll get you your question in just a minute. So hope I didn't interrupt your thoughts too much.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. But I mean, it turns over everything, and it makes it easier for us to be allowed, without any repercussions, to have a herbalist shop, or hemp shirts, a medbed facility that's actually going to actually do something for you. And you see, it couldn't be done because they wanted you to go to a hospital. They wanted you to go to a doctor. That was their medicine. Okay. But now that it's been overturned, all these other alternative things can be offered now. And a doctor is allowed to do it now. You are allowed to ask your doctor without going to jail, or somebody thinking you're batshit crazy, or him going to jail over it, because it is legal now to say, I would like an alternative way of medicine instead of the old way. Okay. And most of Americans agree with me. Of course, they want something better, they want something that works, not something that's a pill that's supposed to help us, but it's only a band-aid because it gives us all these side effects, and it just covers that. It never heals it. These doctors aren't for healing. These doctors are to make sure they prolong it as long as they can, to get as much money out of you as they can, for most of the time, a very sad result. Now, there is some good stories in there because they have to project that in order for people to believe that it will work. Okay, but it's their medicine. Now, why would you want to give somebody chemotherapy? It's going to make that situation even worse instead of it helping them. So now there is alternative things that we can use for cancer, and they already exist. They already exist, my brothers and sisters. We just have to start asking for them. Okay, these doctors in these hospitals and everything else, this is our time to say we would like these alternative things that is more better for us. A med bed, if we start hollering that, they're going to have no choice. Okay, because that's going to put a lot of doctors and shit out of a job. So what? You know, I care more about my brothers and sisters and them getting into a med bed than I do about some doctor's job. Okay.
And this is what Trump did when he was in office, the right to try, right? I remember when I heard
Exactly, the
about
right to try it.
they've
So
been blocking that for decades, right?
yeah,
And
and now it's been
so
overturned. Oh,
and President, Trump was like, look, you
right.
have these things here, give people a right. If they're going to die anyway, and
Mhm.
it could hurt them, so
Yeah.
what? Give them a right to try it.
Do you
So
remember when he was talking about putting the light inside of your body?
yeah, no, I know
That's
exactly what that was
real.
about.
That's
They turned
real.
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And
And
we have the
they said
right
that
to try. We
was
do. We have the
leak.
right to try these things.
Um,
I love you, my brothers and sisters. I really am trying so hard to make sure all this happens for us too. So if I'm going to cross that finish line, so are you. So,
okay, can I go ahead and read this question from Rob? It's for the two of us.
absolutely.
You see, what your guides tell you, and then I'll draw cards for him as well. Okay, he says, "Hi, Scott and Alisa. So happy to be here live. Thank you, Rob. Happy to have you. After needing to sell my house in March, my and I are living with my in-laws. They are very loving and kind, although my mother-in-law is a terrible narcissist. Well, I hear that over and over again from people.
Mhm.
This has caused my wife terrible trauma from the time she was young. Do you see us being able to afford to leave soon and get our own house again, and also carry out our humanitarian projects? Thank you for all you do for us and humanity. Sending so much love and gratitude." And that was a very generous donation he gave me. So, Rob, thank you very much. I'm very humbled that you would do that. I'm going to draw cards on this. And, I guess the root of the question is money. He needs money for freedom to get his wife away from her
Right.
narcissistic mother, which, Rob, we've already answered this. I will draw cards on it, but and I hate to give a timing to anything, but I think it's going to happen by the end of the year. Just like
Right.
Honey's been saying, my cards keep saying it repeatedly. But Rob, I'm going to draw a card specifically for you, and I'm looking for, are you going to be free of this difficult situation you're in within the next 6 months? That's the way I'm going to phrase the question. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let Elise speak.
Okay. Hello, Rob, and thank you for your question, my friend. I do feel very positive, not just for you, but for everybody, that it is going to, this is our year, by the end of the year, a lot of things are going to be drastically different. And not just those who have currency, will receive funds to do the humanitarian projects, but also those who will be start receiving like their straw account money. So those will be done in allotments, okay? You can't put too much money out at one time. You'll collapse the economy. Okay. So that's the reason why it has to be done in allotments until we can get used to all of this. As far as excuse me, as far as your narcissistic mother-in-law was it?
Mm,
Uh
Yeah.
please to remember, I know it's very hard to understand this, but it'll make your experience a little bit easier, is those are reflections of you and your wife. Okay. If you could stop that picture, what would you say to it? It is, you will get away from it, but while you are knowing that you will be leaving, this is where you need to make some kind of peace before you go, because it is a reflection of you. That's why it's there, so you can see it, so you can understand not necessarily what she is doing, but to know that you've done that yourself. Okay, that is the mirror reflection that God is showing you a piece of your heart that you've already played that role. Okay, and you didn't realize what you were doing in that role, but now you're on the outside looking at yourself playing that role. Okay, so how do you act or say things to that character of yourself, because it is a reflection? Well, the best thing to do is to try to heal it from the inside out. Okay, whenever you can find that love and forgiveness, and don't judge her, because it's a reflection of you. As much as you might not like that, it's a reflection of you and your wife. Okay, and that means you need to make peace with it inside first. And when you make peace with it on the inside, then you will be able to go on your merry way and go ahead and live your happy life and do your humanitarian projects. But don't forget about the narcissistic mother-in-law, because we are here to go back and get everyone who wouldn't listen, or who was narcissistic, or who didn't believe. Okay, so just give it time, but give it peace and give it rest, and knowing that you'll come back with open arms to this narcissistic person, with help that she deserves just as much as you.
Yeah, yeah, that is a hard thing to hear. And I hate when my cards tell me to tell people that this how it's a reflection of you, and we need to, that's why there are a lot of things that are attributed to Jesus Christ in the Bible, what he said, and learning. It's easy to love your neighbor. The challenge is loving those who don't
Yes.
love you,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at these cards here that I pulled for Rob real quick, and so first I want to put out the Nine of Pentacles in the background. This is all the money that's owed to you in your straw account, and other things, and so it's there waiting. And when I did that reading on the GameStop, this is what came out as the outcome, and now it's here in the present. So it's in the process. This uh, bringing this money out from these places that have been hidden from us is in the process. That was part of what was going on today with Game Strike. Okay, now as far as the outcome is so it's not telling me specifically when you're going to have this money to do this, but right now you're on an emotional journey that's playing out in this drama that you're going through at home. So you just need to focus on what Elise just told you, okay, and learn to reconcile with that. But know that the money is there and it is coming, and you just have to be kind to yourself, and trust that you're going to be free from this anxiety that you're in this situation right now. Um, yours is one of those cases where even if you got the money today, it wouldn't solve your problem, because your problem with the situation that you're in is like Elise just explained. This is something that you came here to experience and to work out. There was something
You
already.
do know my name is Alisa, right?
All right, sorry, yeah, I do. But when I'm trying, I got a lot of things in my head. It's hard sometimes to get the words right. Uh, Emotional expression, right? So with this card,
Right.
it's you're there for a purpose right now to go through these emotional feelings that you're having. So what I'm saying is, even if you were to get the money right now, it wouldn't fix this
Right.
lesson that you're here to learn, that is wrapped up in this experience that you're going through with your in-laws. So there's a reason why you're in that position right now. Even if you were to get the money today, there would still be something that would keep you in that situation. Okay, so there's a lesson you're meant to be learning from this, and go back and listen to what Elise said again, and work through that. Okay, but know that the money's there for you, the money's there for everybody, and But money doesn't solve all problems.
That's
And
right.
things like this, these emotional things and these interpersonal relation things, like Elise said, these are you're actually having this experience with yourself.
Hmm.
Everybody is a reflection of yourself.
Hmm.
Okay, so I hope that answers your question. If you have any follow-ups, put it in the chat, and if somebody can point it out to me, I'll try to clarify for you. Okay, but it's funny. See, that answer is the kind of answer that I was getting for other people. That
Right.
money's not going to solve all your problems.
Right.
That's
That's true.
that's the that's a
But it is a
lesson
lesson.
that
It is
people
a lesson to learn as you're going
have to learn.
forward with it. I mean, that's the reason why whenever the reset does happen, and those who have currency go in, or with these other accounts, they will give you a wealth manager. You're not going to be doing this alone, my brothers and sisters. You will have people there to help you, to guide you. These will be our mentors, and they will be the good guys. They're not going to be the bad guys who's going to take from us or rob from us or anything like that. They're actually higher dimensional beings. I do know that the Tartarians are a lot smarter, should I say, more higher frequency than we are. And they are going to be our lawyers and wealth managers. They're going to be our new doctors. They're going to be our new teachers. There's like 9 billion of them over there. Okay, and they are going to come over here and they're going to help us with everything because they look like us and they can mingle with us. They are going to be able to help us with any paperwork that we need, anything that needs to be done paper wise. Because to give you an example why, it's because some of you will come out of a med bed if you're 60, 70, 80 years old, and then you come out at 25. How do you go back to your house without people noticing that? Well, you can go back as your grandchild, your granddaughter or grandson or niece or nephew or brother or sister, but the Tartarians will be your lawyers in order to make this happen so that the others don't get no wiser to what's going on. They have thought of everything. I am very, very impressed with this because how do you go back to your house when your neighbors know that you're like 70 or 80 and then there's this 25-year-old there? Who are you? What are you doing here? You don't have to worry about none of that. They have help for us to take care of all of that. And it goes right down to your house. If you have a house, you own it, okay? Or you're fixing to pay it off or whatever the case may be. They will help you with that as well. Now, whenever you do, because most people who are after to get out of med bed, they're not going back to where their house is. Okay, that's just common sense because you're needed on a bigger stage to do these other things. So now what do you do for your house? What do you do with it? I mean, your property, what do you do with your animals? All that kind of stuff. Everything. I mean, people have horses and cattle and stuff like this here. What do they do with all this stuff? How am I going to take care of this? Say they have help for that will take care of it for you while you are gone to a med bed. You don't have to worry about nothing. All kinds of help will come in to take care of your area for you until you return. And once you return, then you decide on what you're going to do with that. Okay, whether you're going to donate it, whether you're going to sell it, what are you going to do with it? Because when you go back to the 25-year-old, you have all the executive permission to do whatever you want to with it. And you have the lawyers and stuff to help you succeed in that. I have seen that quite a few of them are donating. Let's say they have a ranch. They want to use that ranch to help horses. Perfect. It's already set up. You see what I mean? So nobody has to worry about these things. That once you get to that point, we will have all this wonderful help to guide us and mentor us into this new age.
So you just gave me a thought about people being age regressed and then coming back as their grandchildren or children. Um, Last time I spoke with Honey, I asked what happens to people like in the incident that happened in Pennsylvania with the rally, and one person lost their life. What, and, we're saying, oh yeah, they go into like a witness protection program. What if they got age regressed and then they're able to come back and be with their family, but as a younger person, as a long lost cousin or something like that.
That's possible to mingle into it, yeah. But if the person dies, a med bed can't fix that.
No,
It can't,
well,
it can't
I
die.
mean, it's because they say somebody left the
Right.
earth
There
plane.
is those that have done that. There's a lot of people that have speculated, that there is people that God, let me get okay, oh crap. I'm looking right at him too. JFK Jr. You know, he would be our age or a little older right now, but they're saying, you know, that he's already had access to it, and therefore he's his younger self, and he can blend into anywhere because nobody's going. You might say, "Hey, that's his cousin." That might be his, you know, a bush baby or something other, but nobody would suspect that it's actually him. You see, because there's been too big of a gap.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there has
I
been
mean,
people that's been.
that thing that happened in Pennsylvania with at the rally, nobody left the Earth plane that day. Just like uh, the planes that were used on September 11th in 2001. Those people didn't perish; they were relocated somewhere.
Right,
So,
exactly. So, and more than likely because they were relocated, you know, they had to adjust to wherever they were at and understand what had happened to them. But it was part of their contract, you know.
mhm.
So, but there has been a lot of those that that we've been told is dead or disappeared or whatever, and they're actually not. You know, they played their role and then they got behind the scenes, and more than likely, you know, they're doing something as working with behind the scenes or the White Hats to help us succeed. So don't think negative that everybody has perished, you know, because like that we have heard for quite a while, you know, we might be surprised to find out that Elvis is really alive, you know, or Michael Jackson and stuff
Oh,
like
that,
that. There, it wouldn't surprise me at all. It really wouldn't. But it's possible, is what I'm saying.
I heard somebody talking about this recently. It may have been Honey on her Rumble channel, how
Mhm.
these people are going to be making a comeback. And yeah, I really hope Leonard Nimoy is one of them. I just love that guy.
Little
Uh,
Morgan Prosper.
uh, Marlene Fields says, I've been trying to get in contact with my higher self. Have any ideals how I can have any ideals what I can do? Been trying. Any ideal? What can I do? All right, I'm gonna uh, give you my go-to answer for this. It's the one that's helped me, and it's controversial a little bit, even though now it's starting to come more into the mainstream, and that is psilocybe cubensis, also known as magic mushrooms. Uh, this is probably the safest, best, fastest way to access your higher self. In order to access your higher self, you have to destroy your ego, and that's a
Mhm.
hard thing to do when you're in your natural mental state. There are other ways of attaining higher states of consciousness, um, like uh, sensory deprivation tanks, um, spending 40 years in the Himalayas studying Tibetan Buddhism, you know,
It's only
but
40 years.
or a lifetime at that, you know. Um,
Mhm.
but if you want to try this using the magic mushrooms, you should find someone to help guide you through it. Number one, make sure that you can't get in trouble with the law where you're at. I know in some places it's legal now that they're using it, or just be very careful. I used to just go out into the fields in Florida and pick them myself. And it wasn't
Wow.
illegal to have them, but it was illegal to trespass onto the farmers' cattle fields. So if you got caught with any in your bag, the police would give you a citation for trespassing. But the mushrooms themselves were illegal back then. Um, and there's two ways you can do it. You can do a large dose of 2 or 3 grams of dried mushrooms, where you'll have an amazing experience that cannot be described in words. You just have to experience it for yourself. Or if you want to microdose with it, try microdosing, where you
Yeah.
don't really have this major effect from it, but it elevates your vibration. So
Mhm.
that's my go-to thing, and I've been very blessed to have recently found someone who has a connection to these magical
Nice.
mushrooms. And I've been doing this lately, and I can tell you that I think my psychic abilities have increased. I had a what I thought was a prophetic dream about a month ago that told me that we would be out of this matrix by the end of November, or somewhere around November.
Mhm.
I told that dream already. I'm not going to go into it again. And just other like I'm able to predict cards now. in a way that I've never been able to do. Honey told me that eventually I won't
Yeah,
need the
I was
cards
telling you
anymore.
that you could do that. I was telling you that you'd
Yeah,
be able to do that. Yeah.
yeah, I can do it. I can do it now. But I'm never gonna stop using my cards. They give me so many more words to draw on it and images to help me explain what I'm seeing. So, but anyways, but listen, if you're afraid of having a hallucinogenic experience, don't try it because your mindset
Right.
going into it is going to direct how
Mm.
it goes. If
Right.
maybe you're an older person and you've been told that these things were really bad for you, then you've already got that in your mind. And but if you're open to it, it's funny. Twice now, I've had clients who've come to me with this question and I mentioned and they go, "Oh, you know what? I have some psychedelic mushrooms that my yard guy gave me and I just put them in a drawer some way." Oh, well, there you go. The answer was right there in front of you. I've had two clients do this. I said,
Wow.
"Oh, wait, I have some." I'm like, "Well, the universe gave you the answer right there and you ignored it." So,
Wow.
anyways,
Well,
and
I mean,
there
I
are
have
other ways
actually,
though. Real quick, if you don't want to do the mushrooms, there are ways. Find a trail in the wilderness and go walk for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months. That will also allow your spirit to expand and decompress.
right.
Okay.
Well,
Um,
as far as the psychedelic mushrooms, I've never done a mushroom itself, but I did have somebody that gave me gummies. Okay, mushroom
uh,
gummies and mushroom
what
chocolate. Okay.
psilocybin mushrooms? Oh, I mean, gummies. Interesting.
Mhm. And also the chocolate, Anyway, I figured, okay, I'm gonna give this a try. And like you have to have a good state of mind before you're willing to try it. Don't be paranoid and stuff like this here. So I'm just looking at this stuff and I'm studying it. Do I really want to do this? Anyway, I decided to go ahead and just, I guess what you call like microdose. I took a gummy and I can't remember what the milligram of it was. But then, I'm sitting in the middle of my bed and, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. So I did it. And I mean, it was okay. It was like I got really calm. It's a good way of saying it. And then I just wanted to lay my head back. And then when I laid my head back, I realized I had to go pee. And then I didn't want to get up and go pee because my legs felt like marshmallows. So I said, if I get up, my legs are going to collapse that quick. It was that quick. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I just laid there and I ended up dozing off, but I didn't do anything else after that. I was like, no, I already get to go on my own kind of trip that God takes me on. And that was just not for me. But that's okay. I can laugh about it because it was funny. I didn't get scared. I just thought my legs felt like they were, marshmallows and noodles. I couldn't, like I couldn't hold me up. That's about it. But if you don't get into doing stuff like that, there's other things that you can try, like walking, and just don't have no music or electronics around you, and take
Mhm.
that initial just walk, or sit in a tub with candles and maybe some nice music that doesn't have any words in it. The best thing we can do for ourselves, as far as like when you're in a meditative trying to meditate, is don't use songs that has words in it because then it's telling you what to think. You don't want it to
Okay.
tell you what to think. You want to think on your own. Okay, so that's the reason why classical music, I would suggest David Waller. He's really, really good. Yeah, that's the music God sent to me to help me start traveling astrally and stuff like this here. And it's Waller,
Can you say
Wahler.
that name? I want to write that down, please.
Yeah,
Who
and
was the composer
David
you mentioned?
Waller, David Waller, and that's Wahler. And I would highly suggest it's called Bhakti Heart and Night Sky of Orion, the remix. Those are actually perfect, but he has a lot of it is similar, but it's really good music because God sent it to me because it has the right frequency. He doesn't use the 440. Okay. And it helps the body become like a tingling, calm thing. It vibrates with it, it resonates with it. And then you can do it, with candles or just or in the evenings. See, I like to have in the mornings I have an hour date with God, and in the evenings I have an hour date with God before I go to bed. because that's the way, whatever you're thinking about last at night before you go to sleep is going to be the first thing you think of when you wake up. So I make it an effort to have my meditative time to get closer to God before I go to bed. I will listen to some music because it gives the left brain something to do. Stay busy over here so I can be creative with the right side. Okay. And by doing that, when you get both sides of the brain doing something at the same time, it harmonizes. Okay. And that gives you a better state to be in meditating. Okay. And just talk from your heart, talk to a mirror. Okay. Because you are looking at yourself. God's looking at itself. So talk to yourself. And just like it's your best friend, no matter what, you can cry, scream, bitch, moan, groan, cuss, it doesn't matter. Your vision of yourself wants to know what you think and feel, wants to know your questions. If you need something visual to look at a mirror. Okay. I like to, after a shower, I will write on my mirror because it's all steamy. And I have the same thing that I write pretty much all the same time. But I mean, I do that because God's knowing my intent. As long as you continue to do these things, God knows the intent in your heart. But you can also start your mornings out. This is what I do. I say, God, thank you for being my words, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, and my actions and my deeds for this now moment until I go to sleep again. And therefore I use that going through my day so that I know that God's with me and I'm confident about it. And it makes me catch myself because it's like I know my parents right there with me. So I'm watching my P's and Q's, but once you start doing that more, it becomes habit. And then out of a habit, it becomes natural. Okay. And as far as like meditating, whenever you sit and you listen to your music and just want to be quiet, you can write journals and letters to God. That's really helpful because the creative side on the right is doing something while the right one is listening to music, and that's very good. You can write letters to God, like a journal or just pen pal, okay, because you're focused on it. But if you're not writing anything and you just want to sit in the silence or listening to the music, then think about yourself like a vacuum. You want to bring everything in. You want to pull every bit of this crap inside of you. And once it's inside of you and it's settled, you want to transmute it. You want to change it. You want a better life. You make the new picture. And once you have that picture inside of you that you know what you want and stuff, then you expand that. Okay, you took all this crap, you brought it in. You're God, you transmuted it, changed it. I don't like this, I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. And you made it a prettier picture. And then you expand that out. And eventually it becomes your surroundings because you created it. You will manifest it as long as you keep doing it. Okay. And that tells God that you are true intent and you're trying to say, hey, this is exactly what I want. This is how I want it, and give it to him. Thank you for giving it to him. Don't ask God to give it to you. Thank God for giving it to you because it's already yours. Okay. Everything in existence is already yours. And what makes us unique is that we take this piece and that piece and this piece and this to create something. We're not limited to just certain things. Each person has their own things that they will pick. That's what makes us very unique to create a picture.
So you were mentioning music that's good to listen to, and it reminded me of one that when I was going through a great spiritual awakening back in the 80s, I discovered looking for the particular album that I use because he's got a lot out now. Anyways, his the composer's name is Kitaro, Kitaro. He's a Japanese composer.
Uh-huh.
And, there's one he did with the singer from Yes. What was that guy's name? Anyways, if you find that album was really good, and then there's another one. It's not a pop music. It's because Kitaro was like Japanese pop music. Actually, it got airplay in America too back in the 80s. Um, but if you search for Tibetan chanting or something like that, there's when I was in Nepal, I went into a Tibetan temple one time while the monks were making this cacophony of sound. And it's so they have like these horns that are big clashing cymbals, and they're chanting, and it was so magical that I bought their CD right then and there.
Yeah, the
But
body will
that's another.
reverberate with it, you know, so that it's
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
tuning.
It's
You will tune
there's
to
no
it.
words in it. It's chanting. It's this repetition chanting. They do
Mhm.
throat singing, and they have these
Yeah.
magical sounding instruments, and
Mhm.
they things like this right here. This, oh, you can't see it. This this. Let me see if I can give a blast. When I was in Nepal, there they had one of these. They had one of these that was mounted into a temple. It was cemented
Mhm.
into a temple, and people could
Okay.
come up and blow into it as to receive a blessing. And I used to play trumpet in high school, so I know how to blow a horn. Let
Nice.
me give this one a try if I can do it.
Okay.
So I gave a
Oh,
blast like that into the horn that was in the temple, and all these Nepali people started clapping, and they just couldn't believe that I was able to make such a powerful sound.
it is because those things they do resonate with us, you know, and it changes and it causes your cells to actually vibrate, you know, and whenever they vibrate, that's pretty much them being agitated. So they want to counteract that and they want to stabilize it. And what they'll do is they'll tune themselves to it so they're not agitated. So that,
Okay. So yeah, everybody find your journey out there, find a way to connect with
yeah,
your higher self, and listen to
yeah.
that small voice that's talking to you.
Hmm. Yeah.
When I've
And
heard
of course,
my higher
also,
self,
go ahead.
oh, the name of that album from Kitaro is
Uh-huh.
Dream.
Dream.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's the one that's
Okay.
got John Anderson. Most of it is instrumental, but John Anderson, he's the singer from Yes, is featured on that album as well.
Well, there you go. And
Okay.
y'all can also go over to my YouTube channel and check out all my songs that I
Yeah.
have written. And I used an AI program to help me with the music and stuff, but it really is uplifting, encouraging, and there's some humorous ones on there as well. Like I did the song for Scott, Scott and the Yeti, and it turned out really, really good. But I mean, those are just things that help keep motivated. If you're looking for a song that has words in it and you want it to be more uplifting and positive, especially when it comes to what we're dealing with UFOs and 5D, you know, the new world coming into technologies and stuff. I have songs about that stuff. So that'll put that into your mindset. And next you know, you're singing it. You know, that's even better because you are putting these words out about medbed facilities, you know, and that's very helpful because whenever you resonate with it and you're putting it out into the air, it's going to come back at you. That's the whole point why we breathe is because we breathe out the frequency that we're wanting, and then it will come back to us. Okay. So think about yourself like in a cold area and you can see the smoke coming out of your mouth. Okay. Well, that is actually God's source. That is, you know, that is what we all walk around in. Okay. That is the air, but it's magic. We just didn't know that it was magic. We're like in our own little bubble, and our air that we breathe, it's the same air. It gets recycled over and over. But what makes the difference is what we give that air in our bubble. Okay, the more positive you feed into that bubble you're in, the more positive you and your bubble become. And those are called mantras and stuff like this here, saying things. You constantly putting that into your air. Okay, and it does because there is a wall to it, whether you believe it or not, your bubble has a wall. Okay, whenever it hits it, it bounces back to you. Okay, it always has to return to itself. Okay, just like we're doing. Our whole purpose is return to ourselves. Well, so does our words, so does our vibrations, our frequencies. Whatever we put out will come back on us. That's the reason why even my mother would say, you know, watch what you say because, you know, your words are like boomerangs, you know, and the last time I checked, you can't dodge what you can't see coming. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's true. Just remember, whenever you start this mantra every day, the positivity, it's like fills up your bubble, like you're inside of a balloon. and it becomes nothing but positive air, positive energy around you. And that reverberates within and without. It keeps getting bigger because it needs more space.
There's a very good teacher out there for exactly what you're talking about. These positive affirmations and combined with breathing exercises. The name of his channel is New Earth Teachings by Brad Johnson. I
I've heard
recommend
of
to to check out his techniques.
it.
I've incorporated them into my practices, and it's really good.
Right.
Um, and
Hasn't he been on there with Honey? Hasn't Brad been on there with
oh
Honey?
yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah.
seen him with.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely say it's the same
He's a
thing,
little bit.
he
He's a
does
little
have
bit
some really
intense.
good techniques. Um,
He's a little bit
so,
serious and intense for me.
mhm.
But he is brilliant, and you can learn a lot from Brad. At
You can just take the information and adapt it and use it to the way you know how. Because that's what makes us unique is to gather this information and use it the best way we know how. But yeah, just take positive the best way you can. I'll go dancing to my mailbox and I don't give a shit who sees me. Yeah, because I'm in a good mood. And most of the time, if somebody sees me, they'll give me a little jiggy back, or somebody to say, hey, but it's just the fact that I'm putting out that vibration out there and I don't mind showing it. I'm not doing flips and stuff, and I'm just doing a little jiggy to the mailbox. But it's just little things like that, or like me, I get out of the shower, I write on the mirror, or I write God a letter, especially like on a full moon. Because I think I said this before, even though I know the moon's not real, I can't let them take away from me what I believe, and that is, you're in the spotlight. This once a month, you get to go in the spotlight. You're going on stage. What are you going to do? So you can go out there with poetry, a letter, pour your heart out or not, dance, whatever it is you want. But it gives you that incentive to think about what would you do if you got on the stage of God. And that's how I've always perceived the full moon. That's my moment, even if it's only just 15 minutes. That's my moment, and just do whatever your heart feels because God knows what you're doing. You're God. So of course God knows what you're doing and knows that your intent. So, and do these little things during the day that reminds you that you are God on the journey to remember that you're God.
the moon is definitely an artificial object that's a
Mhm.
spacecraft that was brought here originally
Mhm.
by the Anunnaki. And but in a reading that I did on the moon recently, it has been taken over by the Alliance, by the
Mhm.
Galactic Alliance, and is
Mhm.
now being used to benefit mankind.
Yes,
So
it is.
don't worry that the moon, because I know at one point the moon was a mind control device sort of thing and a
Mhm.
surveillance device, but
Right.
now it's being used to put out positive energies. So
Yes, actually was the eye in the sky, so to speak, but now it's more the positive side to helping us. I've had a lot of people ask me, so well, if the moon's not real and the dome comes down, blah 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 blah, and the moon's gone, isn't that going to cause the water to, well, all of that is a lie, brothers and
yeah,
sisters.
no.
This is weather control. They can make things, do it like this here, and this bulge just into the center, that's also not true either. So,
No, it's
but
not. If
so
if
because
if you
we're not that tiny ball.
yeah, I learned this from Eric Dubay. He's probably the preeminent expert on flat Earth uh, science. And if you do a really close study of the tides and the phases of the moon, they don't really correspond equally. There are some
Right,
places that should be getting low tides. And if you think about it, like they
right.
say that the moon causes a bulge on two sides of the Earth. Well, it makes sense if it's pulling at the Earth. It makes sense that on one side there could be a bulge, but what creates the bulge on the other side?
They say
And
the sun does, but
so yeah, and the tides are actually caused by the this massive magnetic mountain that's in the center of our landmass in the North Pole, Mount
Mhm.
Mount Meru. And
Maru, yeah.
I've actually seen experiments with very powerful magnets placed in water, how it can cause the water to go up and down. So
Mhm. Yeah.
That's the what causes the tide, not the mirrors. It just seems that way.
Right. So it's
Okay,
just so many things that we can lie to. It's just going to be,
it's past
at this
11
point, I
p.m.
don't think it's going to be much of a shocker anymore. So,
here. Um, are
but
you
I want to take a second.
okay to hang out
What?
for a little while longer, or are you getting?
If you, I need to go to the bathroom, but before I do
Oh,
that,
that's what I want to do. I want to play. I want to play this song of yours that I put into a video. So I'm going to play that while
okay,
you take a bathroom
perfect. Oh,
break.
you mean the little clip you sent me? Okay, that
Yeah.
works out great. So give me just a few minutes, people, and I shall return. Okay, are we live?
Okay. Let me see. We should be. Oh, we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome back
Hello.
to my channel. Is this it?
Okay.
Sorry about that. Oh, there it is. Monster darkness with hearts of gold. Here we go. Unity, we fight an army, guided light. We don't surrender. We're an army of God, never wither, standing strong, love in our hearts. We'll light the way. An army of God, so brighter days. Battles come, we won't back down. Love's our weapon, we wear the crown. In the darkness, we're the spark. An army of God that lights the dark. We're an army of God that lights the dark. We don't surrender. We're an army of God, never wither, standing strong, hope in our hearts. We light way. An army of God, shining every day. Marks of darkness with hearts of gold. We heard the call, here we go. Unity we fight, an army of God, so brighter days. Battles come, we won't back down. We wear the crown in the darkness. We're the spark. We're an army of God, never wither, standing strong, love in our hearts. We'll light the way. An army of God, so brighter days. Battles come, we won't back down.
Yay.
All right, that was awesome. That
Yeah,
reminds
that's
me
the
of,
fourth
yeah,
song I wrote. That was my fourth song that I wrote. So y'all can come over to my YouTube channel and go check it out. So, and I got other rock and roll ones on there too for my rocker friends out there, my rocker family. So yeah,
yeah. That's why I liked it because I know you go more of a R&B or country style, but I like that. And
yeah. I've been
we're
doing all
we're gonna have
kinds
to
because that's
show
what
me
God's
how
been
you.
leading me to do is all kinds of genres so that I can reach a more diverse
Yeah,
crowd,
right.
I guess. But yeah, I am naturally just a country bumpkin. So, and all of these other things. Now, I did go through my 90s days, I mean, my rock days in the late 80s and early 90s. I'm a big Def Leppard fan. for all of those who like that. I mean, I just made those jeans look so
Leopard.
good. I love Def Leppard, man. That was my band back in the day. But I do like, I do have that rock in me, because of those days, and it helps me with these songs here, But God helps me pick the genres, not just gives me the words, but tells me, what kind of instruments to put in there and the genre and so forth for me to be able to get the sound that I get. And I was pretty surprised that that was my fourth song and it being that particular one. And I was like, wow, that's actually really, really good. I said, my brothers and sisters are going to like that because we're an army of God. So, and I'm proud to be amongst it. So, yeah. So thank you for playing that,
So
Scott.
that reminds.
I appreciate that, my brother. I do.
Um,
You should have played George. That would have been hilarious.
well, I thought this one was more fitting for this show.
It is. It is. And plus with you had put me on the back of a dragon, so it really went well with the song. So I thought that was pretty good. So
Do you remember a song by a Canadian band Triumph, "Fight the Good Fight"? The whole album.
yes, I do. I do remember that song, Fight the Good Fight.
This song here reminded me of that song, and
Oh,
when
well, thank you.
back this was back in the late '80s, right? When this album came out, "Fight the
Uh,
Good Fight," and I remember driving my car because I was like, I just received this message that we were in this battle for mankind and bringing in the golden age, and I was, in my early 20s, I was hot for it. And I just remember listening to the song "Fight the Good Fight," and go after the show, or even right now if you want, go and listen to Triumph, "Fight the Good Fight," and that
yeah,
song was written for us right here, right now. Um,
yeah. It's
in
very
fact, that whole
relevant right
album,
now. Yeah. So yeah, I
yeah, that
agree.
whole album by Triumph is very meaningful today. And yeah. Anyways, check that
Yeah.
out.
Well, I
We
definitely,
should ask our viewers if they would like to ask any questions. You don't have to put it in the form of a super chat. It's not mandatory that you pay, or coffees. You don't have to pay for it. But if you have any
right.
questions for the cards, or
I'm gonna
for
pull it up and see if they
Elisa's
do.
guides, then put them in. I know it's getting late. Probably a lot of people are starting to go to bed now. And but we've just been chatting about so many things. I want to thank you, Elisa, for your knowledge, sharing your knowledge about the straw accounts, and uh, and this new system of councils that we're going to be having going forward. I'm glad the men get to sit in the back and direct the women. Is that what the men are going to be sitting in the back telling the women what to do?
Well, I think that, whenever they do speak, I think that they do talk to each other about what's going to be said and done, but that the woman is the one that pretty much presents it, so to speak. So, but
I
I do thank you for inviting me again, onto this show with you because I like it. I mean, you make me feel very relaxed, and I like that. And I do like that you bring the card aspect into it to help give people more clarification to the things that are said and done. I find it very interesting, fascinating, and promoting. So, and look at that. I just now.
Well, I want this to be your time slot now. This is especially for you. And every 2 weeks, if you can, make it a regular thing, Alisa, this is your time for you to connect live with the viewers.
Okay.
But
All right.
I think
I'd
maybe
like
it's
that.
time we wrap this up.
I told you that I was going on vacation at the end of this month,
Oh,
so I will.
that's what
I
you
did
meant
take-
by that. I thought you were going to be boarding a mothership and leaving us all behind.
that's kind of my plan. I'm just going to see how it goes. But I have been doing this since April, and I haven't had a break or a vacation. I have had a
Mhm.
little bit of a break because my son is sick, and I've definitely been paying attention to him. So all you, my brothers and sisters, or you can send out love and prayers for my son. Yeah,
What's his
we just found out that he has a severe ulcer chloritis, and that is ulcers from the top of his colon all the way to the bottom. So if anybody knows how, to give me some advice or information on that, I'd greatly appreciate it. You can send it to my email, freetheplanet@yahoo.com, because I have no idea what to feed him or anything. The doctor told him that, he could just eat meat, nothing else, just meat. And my son doesn't know what to think about that, but everything has to change. Drastically. They got him on steroids and antibiotics and something that coats his colon. But this is the second time because he had a relapse. And but if anybody knows anything about severe ulcer chloritis, please send me what you can, because I could greatly use some information, because I feel like the information that's being given to me by this doctor is a band-aid. It's not a fix, it's not a cure. It's just, to prolong things, and hopefully they'll get better. But I do know that there's things out there that people know about, good things you can put into colon, good things that you can put into your gut, like people who have stomach ulcers and stuff like that. So any suggestions, I would greatly, appreciate it, my brothers and sisters, with much gratitude. Yeah.
Well, there's one sitting right next to me right here. This could definitely help with something like that. All right, and I had mentioned it to you before, and I'll just leave. Honey is now on board with this.
Well, that's
Um,
fantastic. That is fantastic. And
uh,
and
it,
I haven't, I don't have enough information on it to really, other than I do know that from what I hear, people who know you that I speak to, they tell me, they do like it, and that they suggest it. So I can give it that. I just haven't personally tried it myself. So, but I would like to find something that, that I can, help my son with. I do know that med beds are here. I'm just waiting for the access, just like everybody else. But now it seems like I'm doing that waiting for my son. My son is 33 years old. He shouldn't be having this kind of problem. To him, his world is over. But to me, I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. I don't accept that. I know we're going forward into this, but until I get to that point, any information that somebody could share with me, I greatly appreciate it, because I don't know what to do with it. I've never dealt with anything like that
really,
before.
you really should look at the science and the uh, personal accounts that people, what testimonials that people have given that have used this product. Um,
Right.
my intuition has told me that this and things like this, Honey's Life Wave, is going to do a lot of healing for people, so that there are a lot of people who won't even need med beds
Right.
because of technologies. This is a new technology. It's only been on the market for about 15 years. It's
Okay.
groundbreaking procedure that makes this product that heals your body from the end using your own body's mechanisms. So
Right.
it's not a drug, it's not a supplement. It's natural to the body, and it allows the body to heal itself. Um,
Yeah.
so oh, and you've got nothing to lose, because if you were to order one case of this, that's 4 bottles. That's a 1 month supply. After that 1 month, if your son
Mhm.
used this for 1 month and he felt no change, you can get your money back.
Mm.
So there's nothing to lose in trying it. Like you were saying earlier, it's the right to try. And
Right, exactly. Well,
so
I'm just, since
I will.
God's telling me that I need to take a break, I'm hoping that
Okay.
that break I get to leave. I get to go and not pretty much come back. So
Well,
that's what my anticipations are. I don't know if that's
yeah.
factually going to happen, but if I just
Right.
kind of like disappear for a little while, I think everybody will understand. But for
Mhm.
right now, it's just me taking an actual break, because
Yeah.
I've been speaking to people every day, a
Yeah.
lot every day. And I would like to be able,
Okay.
I haven't even played my game, my brothers and sisters, something I really like to do. Haven't even been able to play my game because I have been so busy. So I actually want to, sit back and actually have some fun, just playing a game and just forget about the world for a little while. So, and
I
then,
hear you.
maybe go to the beach or
Do
walk
that.
around and do things I'd like to do. But I have to stay local because I have to, keep an eye on my son. So it's like my vacation is not really going to be a vacation the way I thought it was, because of the fact that I have to, stay here with him because he's still sick. So, but if anything, uh, at least I'll have some quiet time. So I'll dance to the mailbox. So,
I just wanted to let
so
you know that this time space is reserved for you whenever you want it. Okay.
thank you,
Um,
Scott. Thank you very, very much.
every other
So
week. And
have you
and
heard
yeah,
of the what is that guy called? Gianon? S Gianon?
SGN, yeah, I interviewed him one time on
You
my
did.
YouTube channel.
Okay. Well, he actually sent me an invitation. So
Fantastic. I'll be
yeah.
looking forward to hearing that one. Yeah, no, he was great. He confirmed a lot of the things that about the flat Earth that I had thought. For example, people say there's no such thing as satellites, but there are. There are satellites up
Yeah.
there. I don't know how they work exactly. I've got some theories myself of how they're able to get these satellites to orbit the Earth by going around
Right.
in a circle like this. You know, when a helicopter is going around one place and it's keeping an eye like on a house, they call that orbiting. So orbiting isn't just going around a ball; it can be
Right.
it's going around a flat
In a
surface.
circle.
Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, SGN on really really good stuff.
Yeah.
Not
My
really
friend
my
Dana
style.
got to go on his, my friend Dana got to go on a show with him. And then I had asked her, well, how did you do that? And she told me. So she actually suggested it. And I thought that was wonderful. So I piggybacked on her request. And then they actually sent me and said, yeah, we would like that because they wanted to see who I was. So I sent them links and stuff that is here. So hopefully, it's going to turn out well. I'm looking forward to it. And I will be posting it whenever this happens. So, and that is the August 9th. So I'll be doing that. So I'm looking forward to
Great.
it.
Well,
And
thank you for your time, Alisa. It's been a pleasure
you're
once
welcome.
again chatting with you.
And
Um, oh,
absolutely.
this real quick. I want to say so. It was a while back. I had asked you if you would like to become a partner or an associate with the CIA? And your reply was, no, I plan on being gone from this place by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And you didn't explain that. And I just saw you boarding a mothership and leaving
Mhm.
us all behind and going off into the higher densities. So
Well, that's my
that's awesome.
plan, but it's only to go and then come back and get my brothers and sisters. I mean, that's my purpose. That's my mission. I am one of those people that is going to be helping those to the med beds. I mean that because I have 30 med bed facilities that I'm responsible for. So I know that they're for a lot of people. I mean, there's 26 islands, 3 ships and 3 seas, and then one underground here in South Carolina. So I do know that I'm going to be dealing with a lot of people coming out of these things. So once I leave, I know that that is the turnkey. Doors open, it's happening. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And I'm keeping that vibration up. And then it's like there had to be a reason why God told me, I need you to take that break now.
Huh.
And I'm like, thank you. So I'm just going to be open-minded about it and knowing and thinking positive. And then we got all this information coming in, with the rally with Trump and then Biden and then, the currency reset as well. And then the outages too. On that outages, my higher self was showing me, it's like they had put the codes in to reset everything. And once they put those codes in, everything shut down before it reloaded. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's a good sign. We are definitely on a very positive path. Um, it's like the timeline is fixed. We're definitely on that straight, narrow, positive path. So stay positive, my brothers and sisters. And as I always say, remember you're everything that you see, no exception. So be kind to it, my brothers and sisters, because it is you. All right. And we're all working in this together so that we can accomplish this mission and we all get to go home. That's the greatest part about it. We get to go home. So
Hey, did you watch Trump's speech at the RNC?
last night, no, I did not. No.
So let
I
me
heard
play
about it, but
something.
I didn't watch it. So
Let me. Do you are you have you followed Q and the Q drops and much of that?
I used to follow all of that, but then
Okay,
there's a
so
lot of people who still do. So
do you
yeah.
remember the Q drop that was in the shape of a pow pow and it said boom 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 and boom week?
Mm-hmm.
So
Boom.
I've been saying since the Pennsylvania thing that this is Boom Week, and let me just share something with you real quick,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
No, I don't want.
Young man, he went through a lot of trouble, and Don last night was incredible. They went through so much trouble. They got subpoenaed more than any people probably in the history of the United States. Every week they get another subpoena from the Democrats, crazy Nancy Pelosi, the whole thing, just boom, boom, boom.
That was comms.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. I got that. So yeah. And
That was
but I didn't watch it. I still haven't had time to watch the whole thing. But I have heard that he did give a lot of comms, and so and even soft disclosure on Nesara Gesara. So, and as far as Sue Wright goes, again, she was asking me, that somebody was telling her that that's not real. Well, I'm telling you that it is real, my sister, and
oh,
to
it's
just
real, yeah.
yeah, it's very, very real. And I also want
Yeah.
to shout out to my beautiful family, Angie, Carlos, and Isabella. And I love you guys very, very much. And I want to tell Julie, she got me this shirt. Y'all got to see my pretty shirt. Look at my pretty shirt. She got me this pretty shirt. So I wanted to give her a shout out. Thank you, Julie, for the shirt. So
Yeah,
apparently I have
does your
2 shirts
family
with the
actually does your
Huh?
family actually does your family actually watch you when you do these things? No, my family doesn't watch me. They don't know what I
Well,
do.
though that family does. She's always leaving remarks on my videos, and Carlos is always sending me voice messages and stuff like that. And I just love his spirit. I'm telling you, you people, you need to go check out Carlos Inspires. Okay, he is like a radio show host to God. He has that energy and that charm and that laughter and just that is exuberance about him, and he'd make a perfect radio host for God. And he does a lot of inspiration things. But I did a show with him. You could find that on my YouTube channel. I did a show with him, and it was absolutely a blast. And he made it so much fun. And hopefully I'll get to do another one with him soon. But yeah, my family does listen to it. Not my children. My children, just like most everybody else's, they think I'm batshit crazy, other than my son. But no, I'm at a distance with my family because of the things that I believe in and the route that I'm going, like most of us. But yeah, I do have other family members that actually do listen, and so I'm very thankful for Carlos and Angie and Isabella, because right now they're the main family that I have that's paying attention. And Angie always says she's my biggest fan. So I love you, Angie. Thank you, my friend. So yeah.
I have one more clip from Tucker Carlson, and
Oh,
I
go ahead.
intended to play these at the very beginning of the show, so now we're at the very end. But this is another one that you got to hear real quick. Let me see. Let me make sure I got the timestamp right. Said 311. Yeah, 311. That's another important number.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
311.
At a dead person and make him president. No, you could. I'm just saying. Much inherently, I can call my dog the CEO of Hewlett Packard. It doesn't mean she is. No, it's true. And you hate to say it, but it is also true as a fact that you could take, I don't know, a mannequin, a dead person, and make him president. No, you could. I'm just saying theoretically possible. With enough cheating, that could happen.
I know exactly what he's talking about,
Yeah, he's describing the weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. So I love that they're dropping these comms, and there's only like there's not a lot of people who would pick up on this stuff. So that's that's for us.
Well, look how many people
And
now
I'm
are
not
paying
really a
attention. That's amazing.
QAnon person, but I know about it.
Yeah.
Okay, Alisa. Well, I think I got all the things out there that I wanted to talk about today,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
surprised me with your knowledge on the history about the Beast of Jekyll Island. Um, there's a great animated film about that. Gosh, it explains the whole thing.
Nice.
But
You gotta see
that's
if you
for
can
another.
you locate it or whatever, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, my brothers and sisters, I wrote a song for Trump and it's called Shots Fired You Missed. So please go check it out. It's really, really good. It's for our love for him and for all of us and those who were lost their lives unfortunately in that incident. So but yeah, please go check it out. It's really, really good. So
Okay, Alisa. Thanks once again for your time and your knowledge and your energy. It's much appreciated from everybody, all of us. So,
yes, my friend, thank you for your time and your energy too. And I do love just I don't know, it's just you're very relaxed and you make me feel very comfortable, like like we're all friends. And I really do
yeah,
like that. And
yeah,
I get that one around Honey as well. It's like we
yeah,
we
me
we
too.
do know each other, but it just seems like we've known each other a lot longer. But thank you for inviting me. And if I do get some free time, if I don't go on this vacation like I'm wanting to, I will definitely let you know. But right now I'm gonna, cross T's, dot I's, and cross fingers and cross toes that everything is going to go as I think it might go. So we'll see positive.
Okay, well, like I said, this is an open invitation every 2 weeks at this time, this place. If you can be here, great. If not, just let me know, and that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, and don't forget to send me a recording or the thing of this so that I can post it as well. So
Did you not record it to yourself?
no, it wouldn't let me do it. You said you were going to do
Oh,
it on your
okay.
side.
Well, I did. Okay, no problem. Yeah, I know. I failed you. Oh, did you ever? Were you able to make that recording from Honey's when we were with Honey? Did you get that?
The one with you and
Okay.
Honey?
Yeah, yeah. Remember, I showed you how you could make a copy of it
Oh
using Zoom.
yeah, you're right. You know what? I can do that. I can do that. Thank you for
Well,
the
no, I'll
reminder.
send you. No, that time
Okay.
I had forgotten to record,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was just wondering, were you able to? Because if you didn't, I'll
Yeah,
make
I
you a
was.
copy of it.
No,
Okay,
no, I
you
was
were.
able to do that. Yes, I was because I followed your instructions and
Mhm.
because I do have a little bit of experience with this,
Yeah,
I did thankfully successfully. The first time I did it, there was no sound, so I had to redo it all over again. But it's okay, it
I
did
didn't.
work. But yeah, with this
But
one here, just
but you learned.
send me the link. Yeah. So, but thank you, Scott. I appreciate it, my brother. And I love you, my family. I love all of you. And I am looking forward to seeing you on the other side. So.
All right. Beautiful. Well, good night, everybody. And thank you for your time. Those of you who stuck around for all of this. And now I got to find my exit screen. All right. Well, you have a wonderful evening and a great weekend, Alisa.
You too, Scott. Bye, my friend.
Goodbye. Bye, everybody.